What's up, YouTube? It's the day of the big Beyblade State qualifier. You can hear it going on behind me. And no introduction here. I'm just gonna win. The winner of this tournament is getting sent to Corpus Christi, Texas to play in Baycon, a huge 400-man bracket. So you know I was practicing launches in my mom's garage. I'm trying to win that trip to Texas. But so were plenty of others. We had 30 people in the bracket, including bladers that traveled in from Washington State and Oregon. I tried to channel some white boy swag to ease the nerves, but right away I got matched into Shad X, one of the players who traveled from Washington. So I was in for a doozy of a first round. My first throw is Nightmale on 360 low rush. I love throwing this thing first. It's got solid attack power and defense, so the goal is to either gain 2 or 3 points with a KO or just lose 1 point if I get outspun. Alright, and that did not go according to plan at all. That hover wyvern is so nasty on the attack, but there's plenty of game left to play. Going into game 2, I throw Cobalt Dragoon on 960 elevate. No introduction needed for this left spinner. It's got one of the best matchup spreads in the game, as long as it can stay in the ring. That Phoenix Wing is definitely so scary to throw into. I think he's on like gear point, so it's extra aggressive. But luckily my Dragoon is able to hang in there and get me a point. And last up is my Rock Aero Pegasus on 160 level. This bay can really do it all. It's got great stamina and insane KO power. You can see I get this nice stall, but I miss all my attacks, and his Aero Pegasus is on wedge. So that is the stamina bit versus the attack bit, making this not a good matchup for me at all. He is unfortunately in a good position to just outspin me. So it's looking pretty bad for me going into this first reshuffle. I decide to stick with Aero because desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm in need of a few points here. So he just sent me into the stratosphere. My Pegasus got obliterated. I had to go pick it up. It was real embarrassing. But the WBO ruling here, and I have made a TikTok about this, not super in agreement with it, is that out of play does not count as any points. And so I'll take it for today. We just do a reshoot here. And when Pegasus is grounded, not spreading its wings and flying out of the stadium, it has a super favorable matchup against Phoenix Wing, and so I'll take another point here. So I'm clawing my way back into the game, but here I throw into that same Hover Wyvern versus Nightmale matchup. I lost it last time, but honestly, I'm not super afraid of this matchup. Nightmale is probably the best answer to Hover Wyvern that I have in my deck, so I'm able to deal with that super scary first 10 seconds of the battle and outspin it. This next one is another scary matchup. It is my Cobalt versus his Aero Pegasus, and he's on that wedge, so I'm thinking it's not going to be super aggressive, but this thing comes out swinging early. And the defense on my Cobalt is good enough to put up with that early barrage, and my life after death is going to win me this battle. So now I've clawed my way all the way back. I just need 1 more point to win, but we end up playing that Aero Pegasus Ditto, which we know that I get outspun in. Oh my word, it happened again. The mental damage from these over-the-top KOs is really accumulating here. Check out the airborne contact though. Crazy ricochets. The WBO rules have saved my guts once again. Shad X starts doing this leg lift launch like he's about to throw a 98-mile-an-hour splinker at me, and it's really scaring me here, and our Pegasides are gonna duke it out. And my Pegasus gets the outspin. You can see the exact moment. Level stood me up right when it needed to. What an epic match versus Shad X to start off the day. I'm now 1-0 in Swiss. Obviously the best path for me is to just keep winning, and my next opponent is Magic Macabre. He's a pretty notorious player around here. He just won his Black Cobalt Dragoon at the Underground Beyblade Rave last week. And yeah, man, I'm nervous going into this match. I've been nervous all day. The atmosphere at this event is just different. So much is on the line, but I'm sticking to my guns. It is Nightmale in this first matchup versus his Samurai Saber. These WBO rules are cradling me like a baby here. Let's do the reshoot. And there's my Nightmale fulfilling its divine purpose. I really should not be feeling so nervous here. I truly should be in my element playing Beyblade. I played college baseball. I've felt the pressure before, and in this Cobalt Dragoon Ditto, I do get knocked out, so the score is going to be evened up. Here's where you can see the pressure really messing with me. I absolutely botched this X side drop launch, and it makes my level catch the rail so badly. Self-KO. And going into the reshuffle, just know that this guy is crashing out. I'm thinking about how winnable of a matchup that was and how much time I spent practicing instead of my reshuffle order, and I'm going to pay for that. It's my Aero Pegasus versus his Cobalt Dragoon, so actually a pretty good matchup. I see why he threw it. He just needs 1 point. And there's my Pegasus coming through, making it a totally new game for me. Like, why was I crashing out? It's even. And in this moment, my heart sinks because I realize it is not going to be my Cobalt Dragoon to seal the game for me. It is Nightmale. Why I'm fishing for 2 points here is beyond me, especially when the rest of his deck is comprised of defense types. But Nightmale can hit hard and outspin. Let's see what he can do. Magic Macabre gets the best of me. I will now be joining many other 1-1ers in this Swiss bracket of 30. I had a lot of time between my next match. I got to soak in the sights a little bit. I met this guy from Oregon, and then I find out that I matched against him next. I caught a glimpse of one of the Lich King's matches earlier, so my deck is just a bit more defensive this time around. Here is my Nightmale into his Golem Rock. Huge hits in the burst finish, so I go up 2-0. I think him being on Underneedle is the reason I was able to get the burst there. Usually I hate that matchup. Here is Aero Pegasus into his Tricera Press. I've never tested against this babe before, so I was a bit nervous. It's super heavy. But there is an unlikely KO for my Pegasus, and so now I have a 4-0 lead. Here's where I pull a sleazy move. It is Wizard Rod 160 Hexa versus his Hover Wyvern. Every point counts in this Swiss bracket, so I was 1-1. I was panicked, and here I throw the rod. And it gets a one-hit KO against Hover, so the 6-0 win is really going to help me in those standings, but hopefully I can just win my 4th match, and none of that will matter. For the final round of Swiss, I'm in a must-win match against a familiar opponent, Germ. You might remember I faced him about 3 weeks ago and was able to come out on top, but we're completely different men than we were back then. I'm back to my deck from before in the same order, and he's throwing Shark like an absolute mad lad.
3, 2, 1, let it rip! Contact!
And 160 gets him out of the depths. It'll just be a 1-point lead for me instead of 2. In our second match, Germ has caught on to my old tricks. It is Samurai Saber, his preferred Dragoon counter versus my Dragoon, unfortunately. These two are going to have a slow-paced battle up until the very end when it's going to be a photo finish, like you can usually expect from the Spin Stealers.
It's too close to call!
Just kidding, no it's not. This one is called in favor of Samurai Saber, so even though I would have preferred to do that match again later, the result is going to go down on paper. Okay, anyways, next up is my Aero Pegasus versus his Whale Wave. Should be a pretty favorable matchup for me, and there's Aero able to lift Whale off the stadium floor and into the pocket, giving me a 3-1 lead. He picks Whale to go first on this reshuffle, and I pick my trusty Nightmale. This is exactly what Nightmale specializes in, but oh no.
Aw, man.
No contact, and so this nasty stall does not get to see any actual playtime. It's about time the WBO rules bite me after saving me about 4 times today, so fair enough, I guess. And there is not a stall in sight this match. My Nightmale is bouncing everywhere, losing all its stamina, and it will lose a +10 matchup. Would have been nice to get that one, but Germ is staying in the game. Next up, we have his Samurai Saber versus my Aero Pegasus. I always throw that Dragoon second, so I thought I'd mix it up, give him the Pegasus, but this is attack into defense, so still not really a winning matchup. Let's see how Pegasus hangs in there. I thought I was clever throwing that Pegasus second instead of Dragoon to beat that Dragoon counter, but I did not foresee what that would mean for this matchup in Game 6.
Oh no!
I wanted to avoid that Saber so bad that I picked into Shark versus Dragoon. This is dangerous. Blink and you might miss it. Germ has just tied this game up at 4, and I'm now on my tournament life. As the side of my head squats down into this reshuffle, I think about my friends. I think about my training. I think about that time that Speed Racer and his brother were drinking milk on the podium. And I make my decision. It's going to be my Aero Pegasus versus Germ's Samurai Saber 760 Hexa.
3, 2, 1, let it rip! Contact!
There you go. Easy duck it. Oh!
My Pegasus gets some good licks in, but it settles into this pattern, and all I can hope for now is that it can outspin Saber like it did the first time.
Damn, it's a 4-4 match too.
As I stand back, watching Pegasus wobble more and more, all my thoughts come rushing back into my head like a river. I realize that my tournament run ends here, and I will not be going to Texas.
Looks like Durham wins with a 5-4. Good matches.
Funnily enough, 3 weeks ago, I commit this launcher fault hitting the top of the stadium, which should void the battle, but the error doesn't get called, and I end up winning the match because of it. And in this Game 7 versus Germ, I commit that very same launcher fault. It doesn't get called. I would have loved to redo the battle, but I end up losing in somewhat ironic fashion. So what goes around comes around, I guess.
Looks like Durham wins.
I think I finished in 11th or 12th place, so I just didn't crack into the top 8, but it was still fun chilling the rest of the day, coping, and watching some epic finals matches. A few of the players who cracked top 8 were at the very first tournament we had here all the way back in September, so it was great to see just how far they've come, how far the scene has come. As far as my run goes, obviously it was a bit disappointing, but there's a lot to take away from it. The main thing being my reshuffles. I gotta stop being so short-sighted on them. But there will be plenty of opportunities to work on that. I just got my WBO organizer application accepted. And here's a glimpse into grand finals. It is Blader Doom versus Cabled, two of the representatives of Team Prestige Worldwide when we do our team events. These two had some epic back and forth before they tied it up, heading into the very last match of the day at 6-6.
3, 2, 1, go shoot! Contact!
Get him!
It was a Wizard Rod Ditto, so I'm going to speed it up. But Blader Doom is on Hexa and Cabled is on Ball. But against all odds, dude, Blader Doom has that grown man strength. He's able to outspin Rod on Ball on Hexa. The winners collected their prizes. Blader Doom got his ticket to Corpus Christi, but he can't make it, and neither can Cabled, the second placer. And so these two members of Team Prestige Worldwide decided to give it to the third member of Prestige Worldwide, Magic Macabre. How about that? So something, power of friendship, power of community. What a wonderful tournament.